Hi there, welcome to another video. Today we're going to learn something very new. We're going to learn what is a variable. If you're just starting with Scratch, you may not actually know what a variable is. And that's fine, because that's what this video is going to show you. We are going to start from a completely clear project, and we're going to learn side by side all the things that a variable can actually do and what it is. Variables are very, very important for any projects that you may want to do. You can start by not using a variable. Like if you watch the other videos we created together, there were no variables there. But if you want to start to make games or story or something that is a bit more engaging, you may actually need to learn how to use a variable and what a variable is. When I teach coding to children in school, I always use the same way to explain what a variable is. So if I'll go around the room, or if you will be able to answer myself, and I will ask you, can you tell me what your name is? And then your surname, and then what your age is. I can answer this question myself. So for me, my name is Simone. My age is a very, very old age, it's 35. These can be seen as variable. So a variable called name for me is Simone, and a variable called age for me is 35. Your name and your age and any other variable may actually be different. So when we create a variable for our computer, we do nothing else, or for Scratch, we do nothing else than make him remember something. Let the computer remember something. So, another example. Let's say that I'm going to count all the way to 10. 1, 2, 3, and then I stop. If I would have to continue counting, my finger shows number 3, so I will continue and say 4, 5. If we do want to do this in coding, if we want to allow the computer to know the numbers, so to remember something or to know absolutely anything at all, we need to create a variable. So in reality, what variable is? A variable is a way for the computer to remember things. So you can actually create a variable at the bottom here. If you click on the orange box, you can see here, this is my variable. Let me make the screen a bit bigger. Like so. So if you click on the orange box here, you can see that there is a variable and there's this box here. So when you create a variable, you can actually either use the variable that is there. It says my variable, or you can click this button that it creates a variable with your own name. So you choose the name. So if I click here, I say my variable name is age. Okay, and you can choose all sprite or just sprite. So in this case, we're just going to do this sprite because it's the only sprite. So now, as you can see, I got two variables here. Okay, so this is the actual value. This is a way to set age, and this is a way to change age. So if I, for example, go back up and go in events, when the green is clicked, and I go in looks, and I'm gonna make my sprite say something. Let's say I want to say hello. What you can actually do, you can use your variables. So if I go back in variable, instead of hello, instead of type anything, I'm gonna grab this circle over here, and I'm gonna put it where it says say. So if you're gonna read it back, it says when the green arrow is clicked, say my age. What do you think is going to happen if I press the green? Is it going to say the word age? Let's check. It's going to say 0 because the value of our variable is 0. So we didn't tell the computer that I'm 35. So let's go and fix it. So what we're going to do, we're going to put this one that is set. So set means changing the value, setting a value to the variable. So if I change this here, what you see is say when the green arrow is clicked, set age to 35. Now if I press the green again, you see that the computer knows now what my age is. What we can do is trying to understand now how do we use this. Let's say, for example, that this was a game, and every time I click on the sprite, I made an extra point. So what you will then do in that case is you will go back in events. We're going to find this one when this sprite is clicked. So that means every time I click on the sprite, we want to do something. What can we do? We go back in our variables and we want to change the age by 1. And then again, what we want to do, we want to go back in looks. We want to say, we don't want to say hello. We go back in variables and we want to say the age. Now this is going to be tricky, and this is a question for you all. If I press start and if I click on this sprite, what number do you think is going to show? Is it going to show number 1? Is it going to show the value, the word's age, or is it going to show something else? Think, 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 think. I'll tell you. Oh, actually, I'm going to show you. If I click on this button, 36. What if I click again? 37, 38. So what is happening is that the computer Scratch remembers my age, and every time I click on the sprite, is changing it by 1. What changing it by 1 means it's going to do 38 plus 1. If I go here and actually do -1 and I click, as you can see, it goes backwards. What if I do 5? Let's say that every time I click, I make 5 points. 40, 45, 50. So as you can see, we've been able to set a variable and use it to actually say something. Okay. Now we're going to try and do another example, because variables are very important. So we can set variables for everything. So what can we do? I got an idea. Let's move our little cat here on the bottom left. Now let's say that we do -200 and -100. Okay. We're going to remove this and we're going to remove this. You do know that if the position, if you've seen the other videos that I created, you know that the screen is very big and the screen has this X and Y. The X is for the horizontal bar and the Y is for the vertical bar. So now my little cat is on -200 and -100. So it's right here in the corner. What we can actually do, we can set this value into a variable. So if I want to move my cat a little bit forward, so let's say I want to change by 10. Let me think. I want to go to this. To see this does. He already does it for us. So if I do change by 10, X and Y, if I press on my sprite, you can see that my sprite is moving up and left, up and left, up and left, up and left, right? But now, what is actually happening is that we want to use a variable. We want to somehow use the variable. How can we use the variable? So now this is changing. We can always show, oh yeah, 6 position. So we're going to create a variable called X. And then we're going to create a variable called Y. And we're actually, as you can see, at the moment the variable x and y is 0 and 0. What if we actually want them to be the place in which the same number as our little sprite is actually set? So what we can do, if we go back, we can go here, apologies, in variable, we do set and set, we take two of them. Why would I say two? Well, actually we're going to change this, we're going to say set x and we're going to set y. Now we want to change the value x and y because we don't want them to be the same here. So we're going to do set and y, and we're going to go back in motion, and we're going to say the x position. Don't forget, if this is round, it means that everything round can go in it. So as you can see, I can say set x to x position, set y to y position. So if I put this here now, can you see here? Don't forget, this is 0 and 0. Let me remove the other one so it doesn't, yeah. So this is 0, 0. But if I actually go here now and press this, you can see it's actually changing now. Look, we know our positions. What we can do then, you would be asking, why would you do this? What is the point of saving the position? What if there is a game where you need to reach a place? So we can say that as soon as the values goes in the corner, game over. Or what if you actually want to use the x and y for something else on a different sprite? So even if this example doesn't really show you why a variable would be important, variables are really, really, really important for any game you may actually do. So what we can do, for example, is we try again. We do something else, because the more we do it, the better it is. Okay. So again, we got our variables here. We're gonna remove them all, and we're going to try and actually, what shall we do? What shall we do? Oh, can we do some maths? Oh, we can do maths. I think I like it. Shall we do maths? So, we're gonna add another sprite. Who shall we add? Let's add the butterfly. Okay. And is there a plus sign? There is an X. Oh yes. Let's use something. We're going to use the X, but we're going to tilt it. Are you ready? We're going to move it around so it's going to look like a plus. Nice. And then I don't think there is an equal. But we're going to use, we're going to say this number plus this number equal something. Okay, so let's try to make sense of what I'm doing. You're probably thinking, what is Simone doing? Well, I'll tell you now. Don't worry. I'll tell you. So if I go here and we actually say we're going to create a variable, and we're going to create a variable called cut for all the sprites, and then we're going to create another variable called butterfly for all the sprites. So at the moment cut is 0 and butterfly is 0. Then what we're going to do, we're going to say that when this sprite, so don't forget you can change the sprites here at the bottom, okay? So I click on the cut now and I say when the cut is clicked, I want to change, not age, I want to change the cut by 1. So every time I click the cut, it's going to do +1, +1, +1. And then I'm gonna add another variable called sum. I hope you know what sum means. If I do an addition, 3 plus 2 is 5, that's the sum. Or maybe we're going to say total. So another variable called total. So when this sprite is clicked, change the cut by 1, and then we're going to set the total, but we need to calculate it first. So we're going to say set the total to, and this is the hard part. Are you ready? In operator, we're going to do the same addition that is on the screen here. We're going to take the green blocks with the plus in the middle. We're going to put it there. So we're going to set the total to, are you still with me? Cat plus butterfly. Ooh, interesting. And then we're going to show it on screen. Okay, we're going to let them say it. Where's the say? Apologies. Here. What are we going to say it aloud? We're going to say the total. So we go back here. Going to take our variable. So even if this says total, it actually is not total. It's this number over there. So I'm going to say total. Shall we see if it works? So if I pre-click this once, it's going to say 1. It's going to say 2. It's going to say 3. Because you can see we've got 3, 0, 3. Now we're going to do the butterfly, and then we're going to recap. I'm going to tell you everything again so it makes sense. So if I go in the butterfly now, there is absolutely nothing. So we have to do it again. So we go in event. We're going to say when this sprite is clicked, that is the butterfly. Yeah. I want to change the butterfly. Look, is the correct one by 1. So the butterfly is going to go by 1. Yeah, we're going to add 1 to the butterfly all the time. So this number is going to go 1, 1, 1. And then we want to say the number aloud. How do we say the number aloud? We need to create a new variable that is the sum of cat and butterfly. So we go back here and we say set. We don't want to set butterfly. We want to set our total, that is the one that we're shouting around, to the sum. So set total to butterfly plus cat. And then, if you remember, we want to say it aloud. We don't want to say number 2. We want to say total aloud. If we just set it, it will just be set, but nobody will actually say it. But we want to actually say it aloud. Okay. So let's see how this goes. Ready? Let's go back to the cat, and I just want to make sure that I change the total. Yeah. I want to actually say it for just 2 seconds. Otherwise it's going to go there stay there for a long time. So are you ready? So 3, 0, 3. So now if I click one of these, this is going to go to 4. So 4, 0, 4. And as you can see, the cat just said the number 4. If I click on butterfly now, the butterfly value, so the variable of the butterfly, so the number that the butterfly remember goes up to 1. So we're going to have 4, 1. 4 plus 1 is 5. Let's see. Oh, it's saying hello. Why is it saying hello? Oh, I got the wrong things. So can you see, you can actually set variable everywhere. So I actually used the variable for how long the message had to stay. That was funny. So if I go back here now it's going to say number 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And in this case is, if I press it again, it's going to be 11 because it's 5 plus 6 equal 11. Okay. So what do we do with variable? Let's say it again. Variable is a way to store information on the computer. If you have to do a game, for example, you have to store the score, or if you have to know which position your cat is or your sprite is, or you have to do some calculation and you have to store the values that you use, or x and y, or up and down, or left and right, or in this case the numbers here, you need to create a variable. When you create a variable, that is, you do by doing the make variable, you can use the value by using these boxes over here. So don't forget that even if it says the word butterfly, it is not actually butterfly, but it's the number. So if I go over here, it's the number 6. Even if it says the word cat, it's not actually cat, it's the number 5. So this is the way to use the variable. If you want to set a value, so if you want to change this value, we use the word set. And if you want to make our value go up or down, we can use the word change. Okay. So in this case, it's change by 1. So let's do one more thing. Okay, I'm going to remove all the butterfly. I'm going to remove the sprites. I'm just going to have this. And I'm actually just going to have the cat. We don't actually need it, but we're just going to have the cat. And what we're going to do, we're going to we're actually going to say the timetable aloud. Okay. So let's say I'm going to remove everything, so we do everything from scratch that you remember. Okay. So we're going to set, when I click the sprite, it's going to change. Let's call it timetable. So I created a new variable called timetable. So when this sprite is clicked, change timetable by, we're going to do timetable 2. So change it by 2. And then we can go back and look. Don't forget, you can put this variable everywhere we want. Okay. So we go here and we say hello for 2 seconds, but we're not actually going to say hello. We're going to say the variable aloud, and we're going to take this timetable here and put it there. So are you ready? Go. How do we know? Do we know our timetable? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Yeah, it's actually counting in 2s. What if we wanted to count in 5s? Easy. You just change this here. So as you can see, now we're already on 10. So if I click it, it's going to be 15, 20. So this is variable. Takes some time to understand how to use variable, but variable are a very, very good way for you to make complex game. If you keep watching these videos, we're going to start and create very nice games. So we're going to create Floppy Bird. We're going to create Pac-Man. We're going to create many other games together. But before we can do that, we need to have the variable. We need to have a way to store our score. We need to have a way to remember where we went, if we went left or right or something like this. So it's important for us to learn how to use variable. Remember, you can write, it's important for you to write the name of what variable actually mean. So the first time we created a variable that was my age. The second time was a butterfly. Then it was a cat. Then it's the timetable now that we had total X and Y. So you should create always a variable. When you create a new variable, it adds it here. So you can always drag and drop if you need that value, as you had done here with the timetable and before. And every time you create a variable, you can also set the variable by moving the set here, and then we can change whatever you need. And then you can also change the value. Changing the value just means variable plus 1. Okay, so if the variable is actually a string, so let's say I say hello, you're not going to change by 1 because it's not a number anymore. But you could set the variable to hello if you actually wanted to. Okay, you can see. Okay. So to recap, Variable are very important. We use variable all the time in our life. So if I ask you now, what time is it? You check your clock. The clock is the variable that is being stored. So if you say 12 o'clock, is hour 12 minutes 00. That's what the variable is. If I ask your name and you answer, you have stored a variable called name in your brain. If I ask for your age, the same. What about your address? The address is also a variable. You know what is your address. What about your school? Same. Your school is a variable. What about my favorite color? My favorite color is orange. So if somebody will always go and use my favorite color, will always be orange. And that's what the variable is. It's a way to remember something, an information that you may need to use on one sprite, on another sprite, or on all the sprites. Okay? So variables are very important for you. I'm telling you right now that if you didn't really understand, it's okay. Because variables are not very easy to understand. It takes some time, it takes some practice, and we need to use it over and over and over again for you to actually learn. Something that also reminds you is everything you see on the screen and everything you use could be a variable. So the size of our sprite, we could set it as a variable. The direction of our sprite, we could set it as a variable. What our sprite says, it can be set as a variable. The positioning, variable. Everything can actually be set as a variable. And the more we do with Scratch, the more variables we actually need to set. So I really hope you enjoyed. As I mentioned again, it's okay if you're a bit confused, as we're going to take some time and some more videos. So what is really important is that you keep watching. The more you watch, the better you get. See you later. Bye bye.